Over the Garden Wall is well known for its beautiful storytelling and mysterious lore. I find the setting of the unknown and the character of the beast to be particularly intriguing. Some aspects of their nature are revealed or at least hinted at, but some are not, leaving the truth up to fan speculation. In this video, I'll be going over everything we know about the unknown and the beast, and what remains shrouded in mystery. First, the unknown. We know that Wirt and Greg enter it when they have a near-death experience, later waking up back in the material world. In the cemetery of Wirt and Greg's hometown, a grave is seen bearing the name Quincy Endicott, the same name as a person that the brothers meet in the unknown. The unknown seems to be a place that exists in some space between life and death, between the physical and spiritual. There are still some things about the unknown that aren't clear, however. It does seem to be a sort of afterlife, but are there others? If so, what determines to which one a person's soul goes when they die? Is it possible to move on from the unknown into another one of these places? The unknown does seem to be somewhat close to the world of the living, as Wirt and Greg enter it despite not being dead. The unknown could be described as a sort of purgatory or limbo, a temporary place where some souls go until they're ready to truly move on into a more permanent afterlife. Additionally, in the official Over the Garden Wall comics, a character dies in the unknown and remains as a ghost, only visible in reflective surfaces there for 2 weeks until she has to move on for good, implying that there is at least one other, more permanent afterlife. But that raises the question of whether someone has to die in the unknown to enter such a place. Then we have the Beast, a creature even more mysterious than the setting he's encountered in. He appears to be made of a multitude of lost souls, and it is revealed that his own soul was tied to the Dark Lantern. The lantern needs to be kept lit in order to sustain him, so he gets the woodsman to make oil from edelwood trees to power it. He crafts a lie that makes the woodsman want to keep it lit, telling him that his daughter's soul was inside the lantern, and so the flame must stay lit, otherwise her spirit would disappear. During the story, the beast's facade falls apart in phases, from the woodsman learning where edelwood trees come from, to Wirt figuring out what the real function of the lantern was. There are many questions about the beast that we still have even after the series ends with him being destroyed. How did this amalgam of souls come to be? How did his existence become tied to the lantern? Why does he make someone else create the edelwood oil instead of doing it himself? Do lost souls become edelwood trees on their own, or is it the beast's direct doing? Regarding the edelwood trees themselves, are the lost souls still conscious when they become trees, seeing as those trees have faces? What about when the trees are chopped down, ground into oil, and that oil burned in the lantern? I can't decide which scenario is more terrifying, the lost souls being conscious through that experience, or them being turned into trees, causing them to cease to exist entirely. There is a possibility that it simply sets those souls free from the unknown and they can move on to a more permanent afterlife, but something tells me that something so relatively innocent isn't the case. The beast did offer to put Greg's soul into the lantern as a better alternative to Greg becoming an edelwood, after all. We may actually be able to find some answers in the concepts that the edelwood trees, Dark Lantern, and Beast possibly represent. The reason that lost individuals turn into edelwood trees is because they've abandoned all hope of ever finding their way and give in to despair. In this state, they lack the motivation to continue moving and possibly even living at all, so they may as well turn into something immobile like a tree. The lantern could represent a person mostly giving into despair but still retaining a small sliver of hope, a reason to keep existing that they hold on to for dear life because it's all they have left. The beast being an amalgam of lost souls represents a person becoming lost to the point where they lose their individuality and simply become one of many faces in a crowd of similarly lost people. The lantern being powered by wood and oil made from lost souls may represent an unhealthy desire to put others down for one's own benefit, such as a perceived need to feel like they're not the only one suffering, which they accomplish by inflicting that suffering on others. That said, here is what I speculate. The unknown is a sort of afterlife where individuals can stay or move on from. If they move on, however, they have to do so through their own effort. Because the unknown is somewhat close to the world of the living, it contains the same aspects of the living world that may make an individual feel lost or hopeless. They also may not realize that they've died or passed into another realm and will keep looking for their home, which they will obviously never find. If this feeling is exacerbated enough, they can't find their way out of the unknown or make a peaceful living within it because they cease being themselves and caring about the things that motivate them, so they become Edelwood trees, most likely the beast's doing as he calls the trees his forest. The beast may have formed from a group of souls who all entered the unknown or all lost hope and individuality at the same time, so they turned into a single being instead of individual trees. The beast likely feels some guilt about the trees and simply doesn't want to make the oil himself, so he manipulates others like the woodsman into doing it for him. In the comics, he is shown to have carried the lantern himself before the woodsman took it up. With the woodsman occupied making oil for the lantern, the beast can focus on leading others astray so that they can become more trees. The beast may exist as he does because of what happens when individuals become lost and turn into something else because of it, so he is sustained by that continuing to happen to more individuals as they turn into trees which can be made into oil that powers the one thing keeping him going, the dark lantern. Over the garden wall is a piece of media whose symbolism has many layers to it. So what do you think? Do you agree with my speculations? How do you interpret the unknown and the beast? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. I talk about all kinds of great media on this channel, so be sure to subscribe and stick around. I hope everything is nice and fine for you, and I'll see you next time.